So this.
Welcome to the porch. Pull up a chair, sit back, relax, enjoy the show. Now here's your host, Michelle Barras and Brian Swanson.
Howdy.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Where did that come from?
I've been practicing Spanish.
Oh, that's right. You've been doing what do they call that crazy thing?
Duolingo.
Yeah. And is it working? Or is that all you know?
No, it's working. I just won't be able to bring it up, just conjure it up like that. Hi, my name is Michelle Barras, and this is
Brian Swanson.
We are Denim and Pearls. We're a business casual
With pearls of wisdom.
from the proverbial porch.
Yes. So what are we talking about today?
Jack of all trades.
Jack of all trades. You ever felt like you are the one who does everything and you've got all these hats and they're like stacked up on top of your head and you just got to get rid of one or two of them and you can't figure out how to? Well, those are kind of things we're going to talk about today. But first, we need to talk about all of our fun little people. And we're going to have to talk about A2 promos or ASquared promos. Go ahead. You're better at this than I am.
Oh, okay. Well, ASquared Promos, it's a2promos.com. If you're looking for any kind of swag for your business, that's where you want to go. ASquared Promos, a2promos.com. If you're looking for anything embroidered, like bags, shirts, jackets, you name it, that's ink182.com. If you have problems with your brain and you need some neurofeedback, Harmonized brain centers, yeah. And then if you're really into the running or the
walking
racing or the walking,
biking,
or you're an outdoors person, you're here in Colorado Springs, go to LymEvents.com. That's LYM events.com. And that is my dog saying hello.
Yes. Okay. So okay, Larry, is enough. You've introduced yourself this evening. Okay. So Jack of all trades. What are we talking about? We already said that we're talking about having those hats, and what kind of brought this up?
What brought this up is, as entrepreneurs, you notice we're the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker, we are the accountant, we do the marketing, we do a little bit of everything. And there comes a point in your business when you do, I have now reached my limit, I am drowning.
Right. The other thing that I've noticed too is some people who have the money, which is really nice. I mean, if you got the money, it's really easy because what do I need? Oh, I need somebody who can do my social media. Here you go. I need somebody who can do my accounting. Here you go. It's all great, but we're talking about right now, we're talking about solo entrepreneurs, and we're also talking about our lives, because one of the things that brought it up is I keep getting these phone calls lately. Can you come help me? I need to do the mechanics on my travel trailer. I need some marketing wisdom and social media and all that other kind of good stuff. I need some business wisdom. I need some music wisdom. I need some electronics. It's just, I keep getting these calls.
So how many of you that happens to you, where people are like, oh, you used to, can you help me with, and
Right.
You already have 15 hats on. You've got to decide, am I willing to pick up another hat, or do I have to say, you know what? I know a guy, or I know a gal.
Mm-hmm. Hey, you know what? My name's not in here. This is your show today.
Oh,
So it's all you.
So anyways, no, but really, as entrepreneurs, that's what happens to us. People either know us from our past, or they know as we evolved in our business, what we used to do and what we are doing now. It's not what they're after. So they go back to something else. So what we want to talk about is, what hats are you wearing? And when do you realize that it's time to invest in someone else to do one of those hats? I've mentioned it before in one of our shows,
Mm-hmm.
where I realized that I'm no longer a numbers person. Yes, my background's in engineering, but with my brain injury, numbers are not my thing anymore. So I had to go find an accountant that could keep track of me.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Well, we all need accountants.
We all do nowadays.
I mean, there's have you ever seen the
No, I don't want
the tax code?
No, don't want to know.
It's like 3 pallets stacked this high.
But see,
just in paper. It's
but that's
awesome.
why it's important to think about those kind of things. How many hats are you wearing, and which hats do you need to prioritize to get off of you? Because the other thing that would really be helpful is, when you get a client in, understand that that client represents your accounting. That next client represents your website design, that kind of thing, and look at your business that way so that you can divide it out on, okay, I just need 3 more clients to get what I need next so I can be more efficient at what I do now.
Yeah. I there was a gentleman I watched give a presentation, and he actually did. I mentioned it earlier. He came walking into the presentation with like 15 hats stacked on his head. And how many of you feel like this? Okay. These are just the hats that we have typically just for business. Okay. So when we sit down, everybody always freaks out when it comes to the 15th of April or whatever it is for tax day. And this year, I guess it's the 17th of May, but anyway, whatever. Everybody's always freaking out when it comes to that because they didn't keep up with it before. And now they got to sit down and they got to do those last minute kind of things. Well, if you had somebody help you do it throughout the year, guess what? It would be done already. All you'd have to go, just go into the accountant's office and say, where do I sign? You shouldn't have to worry about anything else on the other side of it. And those are the optimum ways to do things. But sometimes it comes down to what you're making. But if you're making good enough money, you should be able to get rid of those hats so that you can do what you specialize in.
You need to be more efficient.
Right. Because, for instance, your specialty at this point is speaking and coaching. Okay. Do you really want to worry about the accounting or how you're going to market yourself and do you all those other kind of things? If you could just sit down and write out your speeches. It makes the life a lot easier. Yeah. So, but also we are talking about those day-to-day things that we do. I always thought I thought I was special.
You are special.
Well, we won't talk about what kind of special. Anyway, when somebody calls you up and says, can you do this? I know so many people who say, I'm not going to touch a wrench. I'm not going to touch a paintbrush. I'm not going to touch a computer.
Okay, enough.
But I sit there. It's true, though. There's all these things. And I thought I was special because I can go from the computer to a truck and work on the truck. But I'm finding out that there's more people out there besides me that are talented like that.
Oh, there's tons of us. It's just that not everybody says yes.
Oh, is that the problem?
Yes.
So I need to get rid of the kind heart part? Is that it?
You need to weigh your time. And see, that's why it's important to understand your why. I'm a big person about knowing your why. What is your end goal? What's your purpose? Mm-hmm. And what are you putting in your role that either deters you from that purpose or aligns you with that purpose? And so when it doesn't align, that's when you know what? I know a person that can help you. That's when you start detouring.
Right. And I usually look at it. I had a friend ask me the other day, come over and help him with something. And my first thought running through my brain as I'm on the phone call is, do I have anything scheduled and do I really want to do this? Not that I can't, not that he's not a good friend. It's just the fact that do I really want to put the time and the effort into it when I could be working on something? I could be working on my business. I could be working on my taxes. I could be working on anything.
Well, and that's the important thing. And that's why it's so important to prioritize, because if you don't, you get into that whole I give a mouse a cookie idea where it just builds and you're helping with one thing, you change that one fuse, and then the next thing you know, it's actually a fuel line. Mm-hmm. And then it just keeps growing and growing. And the next thing you know, you're like, wait a minute, I just lost 4 days. Right. That's what you need to be careful about.
I think one of the biggest examples that I was taught a long time ago is, we use that famous restaurant, with the arches. We won't mention who they are, but anyhow, if you were to open one of those, buy one, open one up on the corner of, I don't know, Tejon and Academy. Okay, it's not going to work, but you know what I mean. Anyhow, you want to open up one of those. You cannot be the person at the register. You can't be the person taking out the trash and the fry cook and the burger maker and the you've got to have a team. So when you put your business together, even if you're a solo entrepreneur, you've got to think about those things. What can I do what can I do with somebody else, or what can somebody else do that I can get it off of my plate? I can take the hat off my head or whatever.
Yeah, you need to pair up with other entrepreneurs, other solopreneurs that do very specialized things, and combine each other's forces so that you can work together. You're in trade, basically, so you can make help each other become more efficient. So how many hats are you wearing?
Too many. Way too many. But I also find myself, again, I still like talking the personal stuff because I enjoy doing all these different things that I have a knowledge.
That's because you have ADD.
Is that nobody's ever accused me of that? But having ADD or having, just wanting to keep moving and keep going, I'm going to be one of those guys. Probably they say, when are you going to retire and sit back in your rocking chair and fish?
Never.
Yeah. Fishing is not going to happen. I don't have the time for it.
He'll fish as he's got his laptop up while he's fixing something else and building a website on something. Yeah.
Right. You can do that. You take your fishing rod, you stick it in a little thing, throw the hook out, stick it in a little holder there. And when it does this number, you come off the computer and you grab the fish.
The thing is that's the secret. Most entrepreneurs kind of have an ADHD, ADHD, yeah.
ADHD is all this.
Yeah, we have basically that tendency because we are very attracted to shiny, distracting things. And so really the best suited thing for an entrepreneur is to partner with other entrepreneurs that do opposite things from them. And we talked about personality insights before, where we talk about the different personalities. There's, the high energy person kind of thing. There's the detail oriented. We need those kind of different people in our worlds to keep us more efficient. So we are the jack of all trades, but to be more efficient, we need to be unjacked from all the trades and figure out which ones we're really good at and which ones we need to find someone who's a better jack at.
You almost said something I thought you were going to say and you didn't say it. That's good. Well, I'm also thinking too, one of the things that I know how to do woodwork stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm not that good at it.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't have the tools. I mean, it was like I was fixing something the other day. It's really cool. If you remember what Bakelite is, I had a carousel for poker chips.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the things that it was missing was a little rod in it. And it was the first time I ever looked at something and said, I can do it. And then I looked at it again seriously and said, I don't have the tools to make this just a rod with an angle on each end of it. I don't have the ability to do that. And it would take me hours and hours and hours to figure out how to make 5 of them. Okay. Where there's somebody else that I can go downtown to a machine shop or something who have the tools to do it. So I actually put it all back together just the way it was. And I figured I'll figure out the rods later, but I'm not going to be working on them and making them myself.
Like me, I used to be a baker. I love to bake cakes. I like fancy cakes. I don't really have the time to do that anymore. So yes, my kids come home and they do, Mom, can you make us one of those really double-decker, really cool cakes? And I always do, yes. No. Let's go buy that from someone who has the time to do that, because I have to remember that my instinct to say yes to the things I used to love to do. So yes, I'll still make the cake, but not one of those.
You know what would happen if I made one of those? It'd be stale by the time I got done.
I'm a master at cakes.
Because that little thing, what do you call that thing you put the icing in?
Yeah.
You do this number with? Oh, yeah. I'm not any good at calligraphy. I can't imagine what I'd be like with one of those things.
I'm amazing. I used to like making 3D cakes. So like bowling pins with bowling balls next to me. Yeah, I was crazy sculpting of cakes.
I learned something new about you today.
Yeah,
You're a cake
baking.
master.
Yes, I'm a cake person.
Yeah.
But anyways, something like that. Although I love doing it, I do know my time is far more precious for me because I get inundated into it and I get lost. So I find someone who is also an entrepreneur who makes cakes and specializes in that and say, I'm going to give you business. Save me from myself.
Save me from myself?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, so our title is Jack of All Trades. If you are watching, yes, you are. I see you.
Yes.
Please share this live stream and get people on. Start talking to us. Say something.
Spread the word. Spread us around. That
Are you
sounds
ready?
weird.
Are we going to our commercial?
No, we still got a minute and a half yet.
I can't see that far.
Oh, do we need to put your eyes in?
No, I don't want to wear them. I have serious allergies. I cannot wear my contacts. So anyways.
Oh, geez.
You learned something else about me today.
We need to go back to the winter time so there's no more allergies.
Yeah, it is terrible out here.
But we're getting to the point now where we might be able to go back on the porch here sometime soon.
I know. I can't wait.
I know. I just cleaned it up today, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Another one of those things. I got the blower out and blew all the leaves off of it after the wife cleaned out all of the flower bed.
So think about Jack of all trades and how many hats are you wearing? I'm giving you all a homework assignment. Write down all the things you do. I mean, I'm talking from your household all the way through your job and all the things you keep saying yes to, and realize, put priority numbers next to them or highlight the ones that really go towards your job, your end goal, what you want to do. And then look at the things you didn't highlight and do, do I know someone who does that, and can I defer people to them?
Well, just think about your house.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just think about all the things that we do around the house, whether you're the what do you call it? The stay-at-home mom or whatever. There's all these tasks around the house, especially if you own a house. There's all these tasks around the house that we if we want to save money by not having to hire it out, we've got to at least learn something, whether it's to fix a small thing on the porch or a small window screen, or
I've become a plumber.
Or the what's that thing called, the washer and the dryer, all these little tasks that we can learn that say, I mean, my goodness, I had a piece on my washer while I was gone that went bad, and my wife had to hire it in because nobody else in the family could do it while I was gone, and it was like $500. And it was like, okay, well, what is it? Oh, it's this piece here. I looked at it, YouTubed it, and went, I can do that like a half an hour, and and the part's only $20. But you have to pay for that specialty if you want it done right.
Oh, see, and I'm thinking
that's my wife saying if you want it done
right. And see, my problem is like with our carpet. Our house was always the house where everybody came. Every kid on the block would be at our house eating and having fun and watching movies. And that was great when the kids were young. Well, now they're off to college, and I'm looking at our carpet. It's during COVID, and I'm like, I should hire someone to clean it. And then
cleaning's easy.
And I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'm not. I'm going to do it myself. So I went and rented this thing, pulled it out here, shampooed from my upstairs, down my stairs, through my living room, and then was in bed with a hurting back for 3 days. And I realized I should have hired that one out. I mean, because even though, I can do it, but what was the cost for that?
Right. Well, we'll cover some of that too, because I got some examples on that when we come back.
Okay.
Thank you for joining us on the porch. We share the nuances and lessons we've garnered from throughout our combined 40 years of life experiences. Talk from the porch is always serious, but full of laughter, and we're glad you're here with us. Like, share with a friend, and please subscribe to our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. And remember, join the conversation every Friday at noon Mountain Time. We'll see you on the porch.
Saying something. Oh, wow. Cool.
Okay.
They're not showing up on StreamYard.
Yeah, they're not. They're on my page. Thank you for joining us. Oh, wow. There's Joan and Gigi and Michael. And oh, yes, Michael, make a cake.
He's telling you to bake a cake. You spoke too loud. All right, so let's cover our sponsors first. Okay. Here we go. It's your turn.
Thank you for joining Denim and Pearls. My name is Michelle Moras, and this is Brian Swanson. We are business casual with pearls of wisdom from the porch. If you are looking for any type of swag for your business, from pens to keychains to whatever you can think of, cups, a2promos.com. That's ASquaredPromos.com. If you're looking for any embroidery, from hats, jackets, and coats, or whatever bags you want, Ink182.com. If you're having any problems with your mental abilities, like cognitive things, like
paying attention,
being able to sleep at night, you'd like to go to HarmonizedBrainCenters.com. That's HarmonizedBrainCenters.com. If you're into the outdoor events, running, walking, hiking, biking, go to LymEvents. That's LYM events.com. Those are all of our sponsors at the moment.
Well, I will add on to the LymEvents.
Well, yes, please.
Yeah, LymEvents, they really want to create 6,000 running Santas.
6,000 running Santas at LymEvents.com.
Right. So you can register. It won't be until, I don't know if they've got a date set yet, but it's like October, November timeframe. And they get like all of these people out there, and they actually give you your costume. You know, most races that you go to,
you have to bring your own.
Well, usually most races, they give you a t-shirt. Well, they're going to give you the whole costume.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. And it's lightweight too. So
are we going to do it?
Actually, I'm supposed to be the one emceeing it, but you won't catch me running it.
I can walk it.
You can walk it.
Okay.
Yeah. Or you can, bring the kids and put them in a stroller.
I don't have kids in a stroller. My kids can put me in a stroller at this point. So go to this one.
This one.
We are looking for more sponsors. If you're interested in being a sponsor of Denim and Pearls, please go to denimandpearlspodcast@gmail.com and say, hey, Brian, Michelle, let me in on this. Send me some info, and we will send you the little document that kind of divides out what this is and how you can do it and how long it goes and all that. It's usually quarterly, right?
Yeah, something like that. So anyway, okay. So
Jack of all trades.
Jack of all trades, master of none, because we cannot forget the second half of that. Master of none. Now, some of us are masters in one thing, but we can still do everything else. Mm-hmm. Okay. I mean, if you look at an engineer, for instance, a mechanical engineer, just because he knows how to build a HVAC system or put in your heating and air conditioning and design it and do all of that kind of stuff doesn't mean that he doesn't know how to be an electrician to a certain degree, because he's got to know how to hook it up.
Yeah.
He's got to understand voltage and wattage and all that other kind of good stuff that goes along with it. Or even a plumber. I mean, most people, it's always funny because people think that plumbers are sometimes not all there. They're not all with it.
They're in their brains. That's why.
Yeah,
They're
but
thinking
there's
several
so
circuits
many
down.
things that they still have to do. There's a lot of science that goes behind being a plumber. I mean, whether the sewer's running downhill or not. I mean, that's not just something you just go, oh, here, boom. You've actually got to figure it out and design it and understand it and what happens with the backflow and what happens with this and that.
I have to actually interject here. When we say jack of all trades, master of none, I want you not to put in your head, but I'm good at a lot of things. I don't think that it's succumbing down to your abilities.
No.
What we're saying is specialize more closer to what your end goal is. Yes, you could be very good at other things, but they take away from what you're specializing in. So don't say just because, hey, Brian and Michelle said I should just focus on this one thing. No, we're saying focus on those things that support your bigger end goal. So many of us do, man, I've been doing this for 3 years and I'm not getting anywhere. It's because we're running all these other wheels that really don't feed to that same source.
I mean, a lot of the folks that join us here, a lot of them are direct sales.
Yes.
And when it comes to direct sales, if your focus isn't on your recruiting or on your sales or both, you seem to spend it because we become entrepreneurs at that point, and we can do what we want when we want to do it. And what happens? We end up doing the laundry, mowing the yard, taking somebody to dinner, doing lunches,
volunteering to pick up all the kids at school.
Exactly.
That's what I always did.
But we never do the recruiting, and we don't do the business unless it happens to fall into our laps, just because we went to a group and mentioned it.
Yeah, you have to be very intentional with the things you do. Your time is money, and it is precious. What's up?
I need a haircut.
I got scissors. I can cut it. See, that's the other thing.
That's a wrong trade.
That's the other thing. So many times we succumb to something easier. Like he says, I need a haircut. Well, I can cut your hair. Oh, really? You can? Okay, if I cut his hair, he would not be live on the air next week. He'd have to shave his head. I could cut it. I could do it. But would I do it right?
I look okay, bald.
Next. Anyways, so be cognizant of the things you do and the things you choose to do. And although it may sound fun and be a pretty shiny possibility, make sure that it aligns with what you really want at the end.
Right. Well, I was just talking to somebody else who's got his business, that they're building a business and they're building an opportunity and they want to franchise and they want to do all these other things. And he's hiring in specialties, which is perfect. However, he's got a lot of dreams too.
Yeah, a lot of us do have.
So he's got a lot of things that he thinks that he can do with it. But there's some of them I go, dude, are these like really related?
You got to focus. That's what I'm saying. Focus.
Right. His the one business plus another business plus another business. I mean, I understand how we all can do multiple things. I mean, we all do that. I do. I've been doing it for years.
We're entrepreneurs. That's what we do.
What's that?
We're entrepreneurs. That's what we do.
Exactly.
So
yes, focus. So what this guy needs to do is he needs to kind of bring it back down and go, okay, I need to take this step, and I'll worry about these steps later. Yes.
When that door opens. So that's the other thing is when we talk about your why and what your bigger dream is be aware of that end goal, but be flexible on how you get there. I said it in my TEDx. Know your goal, but like a GPS, be flexible on what road you're going to take. Don't say, I must take road A because it's the only way I've got. Because if you do that, then you miss all the other roads possibilities that would have brought you there faster.
Well, I also think I'm a big believer in the fact that if you're driving down the highway, you still want to see the cow in the field. Yeah. You still want to see a tree. Yeah, you've got to still enjoy it, or the ponds along the side of the road, or whatever. You know, it used to be that you could drive down a road and drive 55 miles an hour and actually see some of this stuff.
55.
You know, but your major highways nowadays, you can't. I mean, 75 mile an hour, 85 mile an hour.
Just remember, stay focused on the end goal. Stop worrying about how you're going to get there and be open for the possibilities of the doors that come towards you that align with that goal.
Yes. And And I would say, since we're getting close to the end,
Yeah.
We've brought up a lot of possibilities. We've brought up a lot of things, but how do we summarize it down for that person who has to be that jack of all trades? How do we get them to focus? What's the answer to that?
Look around your groups of people that you know. What brought you into this business in the first place? Was there someone that inspired you? You saw them and went, dang, I can do that. Reach out to them and say, hey, I'm doing the same thing you're doing. Is there something I'm missing that I'm making this difficult for myself? And if they reach out back and they say, hey, this is what I did. I found a team of people I could trust that we can exchange our businesses with, so we didn't have to pay each other until we made more money. Great. If they say, are you going to pay me? I'm not going to tell you anything. Walk away. Okay. There's other people that will help you align, because if you're starting in business and you're new in the entrepreneur world, you don't want to empty your pockets and go into debt before you ever make money.
Well, that is a really big thing. Like this guy that I'm talking about, he's been doing this before, but that's a good example of some people who just say, I'm going to take a business and I'm going to hire everything out.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Well, I think you can.
If you had the money.
If you've got the money, you can do that. But the other thing of it is, you just don't hire anybody that comes along. I mean, not all social media people are created equal.
Oh my gosh. I remember when I first started, I asked a friend to build my site because I figured, of course, that person could build my site. They built the site.
Yeah.
It couldn't do anything beyond that one page. And then when I had to eventually find someone else to build the page, they went, who did this for you? I'm like, I asked my friend to do it because they would do it for $200. And they went, and it looks like it. Yeah. So you have to be careful about what you do.
I always hate using that phrase, you got what you paid for.
I know, but when
really
you're desperate, you're desperate.
I know.
And this was before Facebook, so I had to do something.
Well,
now with Facebook, you just start a Facebook page.
Right. But I hate that phrase, you got what you paid for, because there's times that you could spend that $200 and that person is really good and it doesn't take them that long and you've got something phenomenal.
I had the opposite, because after that I went really expensive and paid an astronomical amount of money for a website. And then
so you got $300 worth this time.
Maybe. But when I finally hired Succeeding Small to fix my site, she's like, whoa, I don't know what all these little plug things but they're useless. They're just here taking up space and slowing down your site. So, Madeline saved me from myself, because I figured, okay, then I paid too little this time. Now I'm going to go bigger, and bigger did not. It was like this happy medium that saved me. So go find somebody who can really serve you, not just anyone. Ask around and find out how they've done for other people. Here's the other thing. You can go to that business and say, do you have any referrals that I can go and check? Right.
Credibility goes a long way.
Yes.
It really does. Credibility goes a whole long ways, because if somebody says that this person's good, that the first person, the friend, I trust them, that trust will transfer over to the other person until they prove otherwise.
Yes.
Okay. We talk about sometimes using somebody that's cold, or just whatever you want to say. There's a level of trust that it has to start with, and it has to be earned before we decide whether that person is actually the person for the job. But when you have a friend refer that other person, a lot of times that credibility comes right along with it. And hopefully that credibility doesn't get lost, because if you've been referred by somebody, you always got to remember that you're representing the person that referred you.
Yes.
And if you embarrass them, that was the one thing my dad always said: you do anything that you want to do, but don't embarrass me. And I never really understood what that meant.
It's your name. You're wearing his name.
Exactly. I'm walking, talking dad. And when you go to, that was basically when I was in school. That don't embarrass me. That doesn't mean don't get in trouble. It depends on the kind of trouble you get in. Because if it looks bad on dad, then it looks bad on you, then it looks bad on dad and everything else. And the same thing goes with the entrepreneurial world. Yeah. When you're making references and that reference and follow up, I got to say that too.
Oh, yeah.
If you refer somebody, make sure that you follow up to make sure everything was done and accomplished, because that's still your credibility.
Well, that's the thing I do. I'll pass the name, and then I'll write the person's name that I gave, write them directly and say, hey, I just passed your name to so-and-so. This is their email, and this is where it's going to come from. Mm-hmm. Keep an eye out for that.
Right. Yeah. Usually pre-warning works too. Yeah. But even following up, did the task get accomplished?
or vice versa.
you know, did the two of them hit it off? And especially when you're in the networking world, like you and I were, and like I was at one, you know, really big time, referring people all the time. You got to follow and see what's going on. So anyway, I think we've had a pretty good show.
I think we did. Jack of all trades.
Uh-huh.
I would sing it, but it's a slower song that I couldn't sing. So
well,
I'm
there's
not
too
singing
many
it.
versions of Jack of all trades out there.
Yeah. My husband said we should call it, leave your hat on, but that's a whole nother song.
That's called tequila.
Tequila, maybe. So, Jack of all trades, we are all guilty of being that person that carries multiple hats. Be careful of which hats you pick up, and remember that you need to serve your business before you serve everything else. Okay?
Yep.
So,
I think that's good stuff.
okay, well, make sure you check out our sponsors. It's a2promos.com, inc182.com, harmonizedbraincenters.com, and LymEvents.com.
I don't know what the LYM. One of these days I'm going to ask him what that
It's
means.
probably initials of his name or something.
No, his name is Ferris.
I have no idea.
With a P.
So my name is Michelle Moras.
And I'm Brian Swanson.
We are business casual
with Pearls of Wisdom
from the proverbial porch. Thank you for watching Denim and Pearls. Please share this video, and you can find us on YouTube and Facebook and Rumble and anything you can ever listen any podcast on. Find us there. Denim and Pearls. Until next week, we will see you.
Peace. Peace.